Testing. Got it. All right, Council, you ready?
Yep.
She will be a little late. Good evening, everyone. We're going to get ready for our normal city council meeting. Today is February 5th. It is now 5:36 p.m. And I would like to go ahead and entertain a roll call starting from my left.
Yes.
Councilwoman Howard,
Councilwoman Diane Howard.
Councilman Darrell Honore.
Mayor Reynolds.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Thank you so much. At this time, could you please silence all phones? We'll have a moment of silence for just a moment. Thank you. All right, council, the approval of the agenda tonight. Before you make that approval of the agenda, I have one item I need a council member to entertain for me. If you see new business on the back of your agenda, if you could add letter A, pickup. Pickup is the movie that came before us a couple of weeks ago. If you could do letter A followed by letter B with the rezoning of 2501 Park Drive. C, upcoming events for Ms. Renee Miller. And then, of course, the Mayor Pro Tem vote in that order, if you could.
Say that, repeat that, Mayor.
That's a, yeah. Yes. Pickup, the movie Pickup.
On
We
the
need
new
to, that's an
business?
action item.
New business.
No, that's not new.
Oh, I mean, okay.
It'll be under new, that's fine, yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then everything else.
It's the same, yes. If you need to add something, do it now so we can, or you can do it during your update. Do we need to vote on something?
They wanted to, they requested that something like our the swim team just takes.
We can't do that right now. This is just for zoning. Yeah, I would do that in your update. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would like to add in addition to A, letter D, under new business.
Can you do a motion first? Do your motion first.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, I would like to make a motion to approve as letter A under new business to discuss the movie. Is that an action item or a discussion? For decision
Decision,
for the movie?
movie is going to be an action item.
Okay.
Mhm.
I would like to make a motion to add for decision, the movie Pickup. And also letter D under new business to discuss Lithonia lookbook. Just some ideas, that's all.
Like on your lookbook.
That would be E, wouldn't it? If you add
That'll be letter E.
I'm sorry, letter E.
Mhm. All right, thank you.
I got approve the,
Can you speak in the microphone, please?
will we be, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, mine was off.
Is it on? No, mine is on.
Okay.
Will we be, will we be deciding, making a, voting on the Lucia Sanders building? Oh, just for zoning, that's what you were saying?
Yeah, just.
Rezoning, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other discussion? Well, first, did I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much for approving the agenda. All right, Chief, do you have anything? Okay. All right, we have consented the agenda, council. We have 4 things underneath that, which will be the work session meeting minutes, October 16th, council meeting minutes, November 6th, council meeting minutes, December 4th, work session, December 18th, all of which were in 2023. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda listed for the 4 days listed.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much. At this time, I want to go ahead and open up for a public hearing. Is that correct? All right. Council, I need a motion to go into public hearing, please.
I motion to go into public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much. At this time, we have our, say that again? That's what I was about to say. I'm reading, it's here. Bill Johnston, I understand this is for 6853, 6859 Magnolia Street. I want you to come up first, of course. Thank you.
Welcome, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor.
Thank you.
City Council members. As the Mayor just mentioned, Mr. Robert Conley is here with his team. Held a presentation tonight. They've applied for rezoning.
And speak in the microphone as best as you can so they can hear you.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
They can't hear you. Can you hold it? Can you hold it?
Hold it and
Yeah.
read it.
Can everyone hear me now? Great.
Okay.
So we have a proposal for a rezoning from R60, which is a single-family detached zoning designation, to an RM75, which is a multifamily designation. The project proposes 30 townhouses on 2.18 acres. In your packet, there's a copy of the zoning map. It's on page 13. And what it shows is that most of the surrounding properties are zoned R60. The sizable tract at 7744 Council Street directly abuts the subject property, but it's an undeveloped and wooded lot. The RM75 district allows for multifamily dwellings that would include townhouses, rooming houses, nursing homes, adult and child daycare centers, and kindergartens. The future land use map designates the property as traditional residential. This includes detached and attached single-family residential uses, which again are townhouses. This is an opportunity to accomplish some of the planned policies, one of which is to provide opportunities for home ownership.
What page are you reading from? You said 13?
13 is where the zoning map is.
Okay, what page are you reading from?
Well, this is my presentation notes.
Oh,
It's
right here.
not,
Okay.
not actually in the report.
Okay.
It's a shorter version of the report, which, by the way, reports, they're really written for the court in case we get in trouble. So they tend to be long, but they have to cover a lot of ground.
What page does it start on?
The report
Yeah.
is in your packet. And
Okay, I
it'll be
don't have it. Which page? Because it's several. 4, 3.
His
One.
presentation not in the packet.
I thought he said the long version was in the packet and he was reading the short version.
right. Yeah. The report is going to start on page 1, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the long one.
Yeah, we got the long one. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Oh, you're welcome. The criteria run A through G, and I'll try to cover those quickly. First criteria for making a zoning decision by mayor and council is whether the zoning proposal is in conformity with the policy and intent of the comprehensive plan. And as I mentioned, the traditional character area accommodates single-family detached dwellings, townhouses. Criteria B, whether the zoning proposal will permit a use that is suitable in view of the use and development of adjacent properties. There's a number of uses, I don't know if you caught that or not, but they're beyond townhomes. Rooming houses, child and adult daycare, nursing home. That'll come into play a little bit later when we get to the conditions of approval. The density that's proposed, the RM75, that's 18 acres per, 18 units per acre. There's an RM85, which is 14 units per acre, and the proposal is 13 units per acre. Criteria C, whether the property affected by the zoning proposal has a reasonable economic use as currently zoned. We all know that there's a strong housing market. Affordability has disappeared practically, and then interest rates on top of that. So the strong demand for housing in Atlanta market, the property probably has an economic use as zoned. Someone could build single family detached as it's now zoned. Criteria D, the anecdotal evidence suggests that many people believe anything other than single family detached would have adverse impacts. The property is large enough and the ordinance requires a transitional buffer. It's a 50-foot natural buffer strip on the perimeter of the property. That would tend to reduce any impacts, adverse impacts on the property as a result of this proposal. Criteria E, there's a dominance nationwide and particularly in Lithonia of the R60. If you look at the map, that zoning map on page 13, there's a lot of yellow there. That's all R60. And we have a new state initiative. It's House Bill 1405, which is to make non-single family detached dwellings available in other zoning districts. So it increases affordability. And that's a side issue, but we'll be taking a look at how we're going to amend our ordinance to accommodate that House bill. Criteria F, whether there's any historic buildings, sites, districts, or archaeological resources. It looks to me like the property has never been developed and no such structures are believed to, or resources are believed to be present. Finally, whether the zoning proposal will result in a use which could cause an excessive burden on streets, utilities, or schools. The property is nearby State Route 278 via Klondike Road. That will tend to diminish traffic impacts. In terms of impact on schools, I spoke with Mr. David Yoke. He's the planning manager at DeKalb County School District. And the upshot of his findings were that the impact of the proposed development is expected to be minimal. We don't always look at school impacts, but I was able to get him on the phone and get a report from him. The conditions of, if council would vote to approve this zoning proposal, there are conditions A through I, and that's on page 4. Oh, wait a second. It's in your report, but it's not page 4. Beginning on page 7. And in the interest of time, are there any questions on the proposed conditions A through I?
Any questions, council?
What's the difference again between 85 and 75 RM designations again?
The RM75 allows 18 units per acre. The RM85 allows 14, and what's proposed is 13. I've spoken with the developer, and he didn't have any issues with reducing that. It's best not to rezone or to overzone property. If the development that's proposed can be accommodated with the R85, my feeling is that that's the favored zoning district, particularly when there's, single family homes close to this property.
Now on the drawing that they have right here, I don't know if this is like based on what they want to do to scale, but I counted 15 units, not 13 units. So I just wanted to make sure.
Well, it's 2.18 acres, so it'd be spread across more than 1 acre.
Oh, okay, I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the math on that's on page 1 of the report.
And it looks so tight, like the way that it's laid out. I know that's something you can't answer, but I'm just voicing what I'm looking at. Right
Yeah, I was going to say I can defer to Mr. Conley to
Yeah.
run through the site plan.
Okay. But no, that was all I had for now.
All right, no other questions, Mr. Johnson? All right, do we have anyone here present that is for the zoning of this property? That is for? Mr. Conley? Developer, come forward. Hello.
Greetings, Senator Mayor, City Council member. First of all, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to come and present my development project. Before I get started, for those that don't know me, my name is Robert Conley. I'm a resident of Lithonia, unincorporated. I purchased the property back in 2016. I've started the initial community engagement back 2019, where I met with a number of stakeholders, business owners, neighbors of the property, and had a discussion about what they thought would be the best fit for that property. And during the number of meetings that I've had, I can tell you that all of it was positive. And so for me, it's like, why did I choose Lithonia? The reason I choose Lithonia primarily because, housing demand, as Mr. Bill Johnson just spoke about, that's very, very large. Location is key. The property is located in an amazing location. We all know what's going on just obviously further east of us in terms of development, Hollywood. You got Stonecrest, you got close proximity to I-20 and a number of other things that drives the value. In addition to that, Lithonia is very, very fortunate to sit on the Arabian Mountain Trail, which has tremendous historical significance, right? And so with that being said, built line tends to drive value all over. And when we think in terms of example, we look at what the impact that the Atlanta built line has driven for the city of Atlanta throughout. We look at what has happened in Alpharetta. So as a Arabian Mountain Trail, as I've indicated to people in my previous conversations, that it drives economic engine. And I think that's a strong reason why. The other thing is economic development opportunity. Clearly, after having a discussion with most of the residents around Lithonia, business owners, stakeholders, et cetera, everybody tend to want more better quality grocery stores, what I've heard. I've heard, other options on residential other than apartments or low income apartments, something that can create value. And so one of the conversations I've had transparently with a lot of people, in order to achieve that, we have to have a degree of density. And based upon what Mr. Johnson said, my plan fit within that overall scope. In terms of planning and zoning, he talked a little bit about that, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on that. And then, of course, we have the historical significance of that. And so let me just spend just a couple of minutes to talk about the vision. The vision is obviously to create a well-situated, more of a luxury style townhouse community that everybody can benefit on. One of the issues that we're seeing, particularly in the Afro-American community around the country, is that you have a tremendous amount of hedge funds and others who are buying up a lot of property, thus creating a rental community, alleviate the opportunity of possibilities for people, minority, to be able to create home ownership. The intent of this project is to be able to afford people who obviously everybody who look like us and those that are not, an opportunity to actually create some affordable housing or ownership and property. So that's a big reason why. Location is clearly key, as I've mentioned. I've talked a little bit about the Arabian Mountain Trail, the significance of that, the walkability factor, whereas you have easy access from downtown, Lithonia, you can walk right across. And then, of course, you got walking distance to Stonecrest Mall, and then you easily access to I-20. At this point, I'd like to just have my architect who's here with me talk just briefly. He can address your question in terms of architectural presentation of site design, as we've indicated in there. So if I can ask Mr. Tim Sliger to step forward for a second. And, he's my architect of record.
Thank you for having us. In regard to your comment, partly those are kind of initial studies, so I don't want to get too much. That rendering is kind of say cheated to some degree.
Okay.
There's quite a few urban infill developments with townhomes in the city of Atlanta that have similar proportions, and it's a two-story structure, so you try to keep the height down and really kind of make an active street is what it feels like. So yeah, it does feel a little tight in that rendering, but I think the quality of the space is still going to be nice.
Okay.
Obviously, it still serves the functional aspects of pulling in and out the garages and then circulate on the street. Architectural style, though, again, we were trying to introduce brick, kind of 5% lat sidings to again get some layering and quality of the actual design. One of the things that I'm not sure we've talked about, which we think would be a really great feature of the site, is to make a connection, basically give an easement back to the city so there could be an actual connection from Magnolia Street back to the trail, which then would kind of tie this kind of development into the city and kind of the larger aspects of it. Otherwise, design, I mean, again, it's this initial kind of site plan just to get the scale of it.
Okay.
I do agree. I think RM85 actually works well with the proposed development. And just again, I mean, it's initial stages, but like I said, I'm excited about it. It'll be a great little community.
Okay. And I'm just curious, do you know now at this point, like how many areas you would have for like ingress and egress?
Right now, I think we're showing 2. Obviously, we would have to work that through civil engineering on, and the Department of Transportation or the city on where actually those are. I think just where they're proposed, I think they make sense. But again, we'll have to work through that with design, which I think is enough. It's the 2 in and out. And then there were also some other just kind of amenity spaces on the trail side that could, in essence, be public spaces for the actual community. Another thing is the kind of the stream bed that's happening through there. We're having to kind of adjust things to fit on the site on that as well.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
Yes, do you know at this time the size of the units?
Where did we have all that? 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. That's the square footage around between 16 and 1800 square feet.
3, 2,
And they all have a single car garage.
all of them, 3, 2?
Yes, ma'am. 3, 2, all.
All of them will be 3 bedrooms?
Yes, ma'am.
And the square footage is?
Roughly, we're still working on roughly between 16 and 1800 square feet.
Is that pretty much the average size for 3 bedrooms? Would that be considered medium, large, or small?
But here in the city of Atlanta, that's considered extremely large.
Yeah.
Very large.
So let's
That's
compare it
big.
with like Stone
Yeah.
House. Stonecrest or.
Well, absolutely. It's in line with what's going on. The number one builder of townhouses in this community is going to be Rockland townhouses. And so Rockland is built all around, and they average townhouses between that. They got some as low as 1,400 square feet, between 14 and 18. So
So 16 to 18, so that's kind of large. The parking for each one, each unit is gonna have its own parking, a garage,
yes, ma'am.
double car or single car?
We're proposing a single car garage on this. It's just a single car with additional parking space behind that.
Additional parking space. I had something else, but when the property came up. If anyone has any other questions, they can go ahead.
Anyone else?
I don't have a question, but the street, I'm concerned, and I know you guys are looking into the traffic too, the flow of traffic. The street is tight. And the area itself, you said just a few minutes ago, there's a stream going across, in the back. It just seemed very, very tight. Very tight. No, not too much width, but I know you guys know a little bit more than I do.
You mean the street?
You're talking about
Magnolia
our current
Street?
streets, not
Or-
the Magnolia.
What street you?
Magnolia.
Oh.
Magnolia, okay.
Uh-huh.
Again, I'm not sure. I mean, again,
Well, that's
28.
Well, I can tell you that's kind of consistent based upon the study that Mr. Johnston done in terms of the traffic question he asked on he addressed that issue. We don't foresee any traffic issues as a result of 30 units that have off-street parking as a result of this development.
Okay.
And so clearly we have to comply with DOT rules, the county as well as the city of Lithonia in order to make it work. So all those taken into account. In addition to what he said, I'd like to just remind the council that all this stuff is still contingency. If you guys are gracious enough to approve this, we still got to comply to obviously DOT rules, the Cap County rules of development.
Right.
And one other thing I'd like to just add on the big side of that, being a small developer, as I gave full disclosures, being a small developer on this, most small cities, when you're doing development like this, typically offer some degree of incentives. Obviously, I don't think Lithonia is in a position right now to really give us incentives on the infrastructure work, which means we've got to take, and that's one of the reasons it's important for us to get 30, is we got to do sidewalk, we got to do the whole infrastructure thing on that, in addition to, as Tim or my architect has mentioned, giving the easement to tie this truly into the community of Lithonia, whereas residents can walk directly across straight to the maybe route trail, ride their bikes and whatever. They'd be well lit, well situated, highly developed, rather than walking all the way around. So we're very excited. Obviously, I know most people who have met me here, I've talked very positive about it since 2019. I'm very excited to be at this next phase of trying to move this project forward.
Thank you.
Man.
Okay, go ahead.
Took a minute. Ownership. So these are going to be condos. So these are going to be homes that's going to be
Yes, ma'am.
ownership.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have the cost per unit? I know you said 3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Well, I mean, at the point, not in stone at this point, because a lot of that is based upon development costs, a number of other things. You got to raise equity, and then of course debt. I can get loans, small business loans, developer. So, but if I were to give you a number range, I would probably say somewhere between high 200s.
High 200.
More than like high 200s.
Over 250.
I just want to throw this out there just
Sure.
because it's just a visionary dream.
Sure.
It would be so nice if we had, like Emmett Park, Reynolds area. I know that's more so like there's a lot of retail in the bottom space, and then there's rental on top. But some people also may own, I don't know. But that would be so lovely because you guys are right there on a main road, Klondike. And if we can get some foot traffic there and the bike trail, that would make that a very walkable, desirable area. Like, especially since we're going to build out sidewalks in the future on Klondike. Like, that's just something I wanted to put out there.
No, but I like it a lot. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, I would love to do that type of
I know,
development.
it's
The other thing-
expensive. I know.
Not only the zoning would be an issue with that, but the other thing is that you need density. That's one of the things
Yeah.
I've constantly talked to residents about in terms of getting retail, sustainable retail there. You got to have a number of mailboxes, you got to have a number of people there. And so this is, I think, is a crucial step for the city of Lithonia, and everybody knows that I love the city of Lithonia in terms of creating that density so that it supports again. And I'll go over some of the benefits and just a quick view about the benefits actually having such development.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. At this time, is there any citizens that is for the rezoning? Rezoning. We're only talking about rezoning of this property. For? All right. Come forward. Come forward. Just state your name and your address.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Javon Lloyd. I live at 2657 Williams Grant Reynolds Drive. Just a little background about myself. I actually am a product of DeKalb County, Lithonia. Stepped out and went to high school in Stevenson, but after high school, I moved to Florida, attended FAMU, and I just lived in Florida for the longest, probably around 15 years. Decided to come back home and bought my first house up the street, so really proud. And one of the things that kind of attracted me about Lithonia was that, to be honest with you, it looked the exact same of how it did when I was in high school. And I like the mixed use, I like it, but at the same time, I like my peace and quiet.
Right.
What I would say for this particular project, I think that it is something that's needed. It looks really, I did the background. I'm also in local government. I work in public information. So I did a lot of background research. I think that it would be great. I was concerned about the density of it, but you got to start somewhere. And I think it's time for the city to turn over a new leaf. The only issue that I would have with the property, and I don't even, or the project, I wouldn't even say it's with the project itself, but if we're adding more people, I just think that we need to be cognizant of how we present to these newcomer people to get them here. Especially on that thoroughfare, there's I've just noticed a lot of trash in the area. And so what I don't want more people coming here and adding to that problem. I think that if we can address that, then we can attract more people to come. who will want to bring more projects like this. But again, I just think that it's something that's needed. You do have to start somewhere. We can't stay the same way forever.
Mhm.
And I just want to appreciate you guys for listening and hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else for the rezoning? For the rezoning? Okay, come forward.
I can't,
State your
Compete
name.
Dawn Massey. I
Address.
live at 6949 Main Street.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't compete with that last guy, but I do think that this is a very positive step for Lithonia to take. And I just hope that y'all approve the rezoning.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Anyone against the rezoning of said property? Anyone against? All right. All right, council. Did you have any other questions or concerns before you all get to the decision piece of it?
I guess my only concern is I know that there's multiple things that Mr. Johnson listed under the R85/75. So is that something when we vote that we have to mention as a condition or variance to make sure that it's only for multifamily and not the other things that was listed? I know he's still here.
Yeah, I would put it in the motion.
The page 2, the rooming house, the boarding house.
I think
Mr.
we vote on everything.
I would
Yeah.
think you need to put it in there. Mr. Johnston, what you think?
I think it's in there, man.
And that's for R75.
What was the question again?
So we were just talking about making it either rezone for R75 or 85, right?
For grade R85, the recommendation, Mr. Johnson, is to allow for 14 per acre
Yeah.
rather than 18 per acre.
Okay. So I guess that wouldn't apply then, never mind. R85 zoning.
Because it was still be
Yeah, if you look at the
You see this right here?
conditions,
On page.
Whoever does that vote, they need to make sure. they read
Thank you,
that.
Mr. Johnson.
All right. All right, council, are you ready for a decision?
I think you were saying something.
Did you say something?
Nothing.
in your report,
On page 2.
yeah, it's page 7, the item E. Approval of the site plans sort of includes other uses, but still something I wanted to emphasize in a condition. So that you can understand, if you approve the result, you'll be in the townhouse, and not the other uses.
Not the
that are
other
listed.
uses. Okay. The A through D. Well,
Okay.
One thing I neglected to mention was the fact that we have 3 townhouses in the entire city. Those are under construction. It's not a very big number when compared to the number of single families detached. 250 might sound like a lot, but when you go to a single family detached, you're probably looking at 350, 450.
Okay. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve application to rezone 6853 and 6859 Magnolia Street from an R60 single family residential district to an RM85 multi-family residential district.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion?
Does that include the conditions A through I?
Let me make an amendment. Wait, let me look at the island.
I think it's page 7.
Right. Want me to restate that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Let me restate that. I'd like to make a motion to approve the application to rezone 6853 and 6859 Magnolia Street from an R60 single family residential district to an R85 multi-family residential district to include, we said A through I,
Yes.
to include A through I in the rezoning principles.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes.
I recall us asking if anybody was for it. Did we not need to go with anyone who may be against it?
I did that already. No one
No one? Okay,
didn't. Mm-mm.
thank you.
Okay.
Because it's part of the record of the public hearing, I record.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right, y'all ready?
Oh, I did have just one question. When were you planning on constructing?
Hopefully within the next 12 months, the next first step was to get approval. And then the
Okay.
second step is to raise the capital and equity.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Also have within there to keep the city, of course, abreast of the entire process as we proceed to the next phase.
Can I just piggyback that? What is your estimated time of completion?
But once it gets started, I guess, imagine it's about a 12-month development. I would think 12, 18-month development,
So we're gonna have 2 years down
more than likely.
for completion.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, I would like your card before you leave, Mr. Huntley.
2501 Park Drive. Y'all just on something today.
Don't want to read it, no.
All right, there's no old business, council. All right, new business. We're gonna move forward to letter A, the new letter A, which will be the pickup. That will be the movie. We did have that presentation. What was it? 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Okay. Our guys here.
It was almost 3
Hey.
weeks ago because we
Okay.
remember we had a week. There was no changes to any of their traffic control or anything that they submitted last time.
Okay.
We asked them to come back if they bring any changes they were going to have. They haven't had it.
Okay.
So, but they need approval for the permit.
All right. All right, council. I'm ready for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the permit and licensing for the pickup movie.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You all have a good evening. All right, our next decision tonight would be the Park Drive rezoning. This is rezoning again only. This is for a decision. We have already discussed that presentation. There was a couple of meetings in between that time. I'll let you go first and I'll join in with you if you need me.
So when Mr. Mitchell and his team presented last time, one of the concerns from council was the widening of Parkway Drive. So myself and the mayor met with the mayor of Stonecrest as well as Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Blackwell. We had a meeting and Harry, our engineer. In our meeting with the mayor of Stonecrest, we asked basically if there was the ability for them to widen their end of Parkway Drive, which would be from the water tower on out to Lithonia Industrial Boulevard. If the county would be interested in widening their area, which is right in front of where they were building the new park, it would be from Phillip Street almost down to the water tower.
Page 3, you said?
So during those conversations with the mayor of Stonecrest, we were reassured that it was a no-brainer for them to widen their section of Parkway Drive. I've also had additional conversations with Harry over at Stonecrest, and he informed me that they actually have a new development going in towards the end of Parkway Drive near LIB, so they're going to be in the process of widening that anyways. we would be responsible for widening our section, which would be Phillips Street on up to Park Drive. So there is an area, if you ever go down Parkway Drive, coming from Main Street, it is widened. I mean, it's wide enough all the way till you get right there in front of the church where that little land kind of butts out into the roadway. So that's kind of where we would be responsible for. So I think the conversations went well. I'll let the mayor elaborate on anything with Stonecrest, but of course they would have to take it before council and, you know, get their approvals and whatnot. But, you know, it was a great meeting.
Yep, very great. And he just said everything I was going to say anyway.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. But Stonecrest was excited for us, you know, and for them as well because it's so, you know, close. So they're ready to work with us. So whatever we need. So yeah. But of course they gotta go through what I go through with y'all. They gotta vote. They gotta vote. But she assured us that it shouldn't be, you know, any issues. And of course she did speak of SPLOS to get that done. So
Okay.
it'll be okay. Yeah.
What does that look like legally? Like, do they have to sign something, or how does that?
Well,
work?
it's just gonna be on their end. It's their jurisdiction. So it's just like we're all doing it together as one. Yeah.
The first of many, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'll be a joint
Right.
conversation, a joint effort. I mean, I'm sure there's somewhere we can get it worked out. We do it all as one big project and, you know, kind of get it all widened together. But, I mean, I think we talked in the meeting with the mayor of Stonecrest and Harry, 18-month project on the building, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that gives them plenty of time to do what they need to do to get it worked out. Plus, like I said, Harry reassured me that, and they've already started clearing the land. If you drive down Parkway, right before you get to LIB, you look to the left, there's a neighborhood development going in there. So, yeah, so they're already talking about widening that for that neighborhood too.
Got you. All right. All right, council. Yes.
I motion to approve the 2501 Park Drive rezoning.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much. Thank you, DeKalb. We're excited. We love you, Mr. Mitchell.
And crew.
And crew. All right, council, we're going to proceed up to the upcoming events. We have Miss Renee Miller. You ready, Miss Miller? Enigma Events.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
Council. How are you all? Good. Just wanted to give a couple of updates with events as it relates to our up and coming season. One, of course, last year I did come before you all.
Uh-oh.
That might be an omen there. With respect to Music and Mimosas on Main. And at that time, we wanted to look at an April date. And since April is a little unpredictable with weather, I'd like to see if we could possibly have that first date to be May 19th as opposed to the April date, just for us to look at weather stability so that we're not having to do cancellations on the basis of rain. The timing is still the same. The process would still be the same. I just wanted to get a different date to start it, if that's okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a decision.
Okay.
Make a motion to, wait, do you have more before I do all that?
I do, but it's with respect to the park.
I'll make it. Like to make a motion to approve the mimosas.
Music and mimosas
Music and
on.
mimosas
Mhm.
for May 19th.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Okay. And then secondly, I have an event with respect to the park. Prior to 2022, Mikey Sparkle had held his event, Jamaica Day or Family Fun Day, whichever name may have been utilized at that time, in the park area of Lithonia. He moved it up to the amphitheater, but he is now asking to go back to the back of the park. That date is identified as June 16th, which is Father's Day. and also a Sunday that is preceding what would be a federal holiday, that Monday of Juneteenth. Okay. With that ask, he is asking for, I guess, a bit of grace as it relates to the time. I know last year we didn't have events in the area of the park, so this would give an event there, but we were trying to see if perhaps that event could conclude at 10 as opposed to 8.
Well, I don't know, but
It's been a while
Mike
ago. I can't
has
remember.
violated a bunch of noise ordinance last time he was around here. So I don't know if just letting him go wild in the back of the park is a good thing again. I mean, you know, it's the same stuff. It's not anything new.
I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger. And it was not, he made the decision to ask if he could go to the back of the park. And at that point, well, I'll say the park. At that point in time, he was asking me, who does the park? And I said, oh, that's me as well. And with the time, of course, I knew that I would have to come to council in order to ask. Now, with respect to the amphitheater, and I can only talk about the amphitheater, we were compliant on the basis of the timing of the event to ensure that it did stop on time. And not to say that anyone's overseeing is any differently from someone else's, but if it was identified that that time was extended, of course, I would meet the demands of the city because it would be my point to represent you all as a city during that course in time.
So in other words, from 8 to 10, is that what you're asking for?
He'd like
He's
to,
asking.
he's asking for his event to end at 10 p.m.
Mhm.
as opposed to
And
8
if it was
p.m.
at the amphitheater, what would
It
the
would be
ending?
8.
It would be 8.
Now, and that's what it's the same one we had a problem with before, and he's just coming back again. You know, just
I was unaware that his event was the one that was an area of issue. I thought it was another person during
sure
the
you
course
got
of
it right?
that
Mhm.
weekend.
You was telling me he had a couple of people under different names.
I don't even remember.
I always
I-
thought he was the nicer one. Okay. Yeah, we don't
Color
deal with.
Gasm was a good one.
No,
No, it was
no.
But Mike had one too. He was in the back.
Every
a couple
time
years
Mikey
and
Sparkle come, it's always a cool event, even in the back of the park. Because
one
we
person,
had a
that's fine.
situation. He couldn't go in the back of the park. I forgot what
Right,
we didn't have
right.
a contract ready or something. Something.
we
We weren't ready.
we
And he had to
decided
go to the
to.
amphitheater.
Mhm.
And he really didn't want to go to the amphitheater, but he always go to the back of the park. Yeah, that's the Mikey Sparkle. I know.
Now, I do know that there was an event that was in the park the same weekend as the Sparkle event. And again, this was prior to me,
Mhm.
that there was some scuttle about, which would have been that.
One time.
And that was color. Well, so one year we had,
I know who he is.
so one year there was a Friday event, if I recall correctly. And I think things went a bit haywire. So as a result, that following year, it was identified that those events were not going to take place. Hence was why Mikey in turn moved it to the amphitheater. Now I don't know names. The only thing that I can say that if this is approved for him, whatever safeguards that you all ask for him to have in place, he'll have to have the compliance. He'll have to comply. I mean,
I'm just one person.
I understand.
Council, y'all think about that?
I don't know. It confuses me at this point because we had so many issues. I don't know who is who. I really don't.
And then I'm
Well-
thinking about if we approve that, then the next person that comes through with an event is also gonna want to take it.
So
Then for one,
this would be my rebuttal to that. The only reason that I'm even asking for a 10 o'clock extension is because the following day is a federal holiday. If it was a business as normal day for that Monday, it would have to be 8 o'clock or whatever council identified on the basis of that. I realized that there were some hiccups in the park prior to, but I would venture to say that at the point in time as to where that event moved to the amphitheater, he had also spoken with Mayor Reynolds to ask prior to even coming to me. And he did follow what was asked of him at the point in time that he was utilizing the amphitheater. He's just asking to go back to the back of the park.
Is there an extended cost for the extended hours?
Well,
We would decide that.
we decided that. And what we'll do, because we did not utilize the park last year, I think it'll give us an opportunity to review what those costs are associated with it so that that can be shared with him and be shared with him. So in transparency, so that he understands, what his out-of-pocket cost would be.
And it's an all-day event again.
It does start at 12 o'clock, I do believe.
All right, Shepherd.
It started at 12 o'clock, I think, last year.
But it's a two charge for that day though. It's not a one charge.
However, it's identified with respect to council.
I'm sorry, what's the date of that?
June 16th.
And if you requesting to extend the time to 10 o'clock, 10 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
What's our closing time now? 9?
That was 8.
I don't
was
think
Dustin.
That's on a Saturday,
it's on a Sunday.
Sunday?
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, I think it's a minute.
We've been back and forth with the hours. Like,
Yeah.
is it written somewhere, anywhere?
Yeah, we have it. It'll give us a chance to revisit it.
So it's 10 hours. How many hours is that? 9 hours of music.
not 9. I don't think his
12.
doors open at 12. But he
Yeah, it
norm-
does.
You start
Okay.
setting up at 12 or is it?
No, he would set up before 12. And I would have to look from last year just to see. I know that it is
It was solid 8 or 9 hours of music.
What's the name of the company?
Mikey Sparkle Productions.
And what exactly is he
What's the
going to be
name of
doing at the event?
It's a family day, so they have jumpy. It's family friendly, but they do have music. He is of Caribbean descent, so it does celebrate the families of that descent, but it is a family oriented event.
I think we've had in the past, and I'm not trying to single out anybody, but I've even been told by the Caribbean community that their type of music is really felt more as much as heard.
Yeah, and I don't dispute it. I'm just simply identifying that we had a client who would like to host his event in the park this year as opposed to the amphitheater. So I'm just coming before council to identify what was shared with me.
So basically, you're just requesting to extend the hours.
Yes, ma'am.
You need a decision today?
Yes, please.
Okay, so do we know what we extended from?
That's what I was asking. What are our hours? I know we
It's-
have it
Take
written.
it back to the
It's
part.
2
On a
hours.
Sunday, it wasn't that late.
She's just
was it?
asking for 2 hours from 8 to 10.
And what's the name of the event?
Oh, so it was 8 o'clock. Okay,
Mhm.
that's what I was
Family Festival.
Family Fun Day.
asking. Well, if you want to try it, and we can let that up to you as far as choosing the.
I'll leave it to council because I don't know. I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Let me tell y'all something real quick. Can I say something? You said,
Because that was.
Oh, okay. So Family Fun Day is Family Fun Day. No matter what your descent is, it's Family Fun Day. We all play music. Mardi Gras is when?
February 13th,
You're from where?
New Orleans.
Okay. All right. So in the city of Lithonia, we have different things that we want to see, right?
Mhm.
Community events, people having fun, kids in jumpers, bouncy houses, and all that kind of stuff. I'm about to tear up because I just don't understand what's taking so long to make a decision.
Well, we can make that decision.
The reason why I'm saying it is because you just had a new person sat back here in the back and said it's still the same. Everything is still the same. I just wish y'all could just be more community oriented. You get what I'm saying? That's all I
That's
want.
not it, Mayor. You know
Wow,
what
I
we
know,
deal
I know,
with.
but
You know,
two
deal with it.
hours. She just, if you don't want him to do 2 hours, just say
No,
no.
I'm just saying the extreme loud music all day long in the neighborhood. And
But in the back of the park,
you've been
you all
having millions
stated.
of complaints. We
You all
know it's not
stated.
the same. It's not the
It's not
same.
the same person
It's not
though.
the same.
Y'all have already
It's not the
took
same.
took the time and got all of those colorgasm, igloo, all of those different events. They're no more here.
Okay.
This is something he was here last year. He did fine in the amphitheater last year. He did fine before then. But
I
he's
remember that.
He was
Mikey
2 years.
Sparkle. I remember him. I remember him.
We had two
But-
events at the same time, right?
If I may,
He did the amphitheater, yes.
if I may interject, he has utilized the amphitheater for the past 2 years. The first year that I worked with the city, that was the year when we had an event in the front and in the back, and that was Colorgasm. But that would have been the Guyana Fest, because if I recall correctly, it was the Memorial Day weekend, but despite having to deal with both of the events at the same time,
right?
we made it work to a point that I won't say that people will not disturbed, because then I would be dishonest. But we made it work on the basis of making it work for the betterment of those two events, because at that point in time, there was a scheduling faux pas. So we had no other choice but to make it work, because we had two events on the same day, essentially almost at the same time. But we were able to make it work. I think one of the things, despite what may be happening, I find myself sometimes saying we have to get out of the rearview mirror, because when you all ask something of me, I try to do my level best to deliver. Even when Mikey's event has taken place, when the Guyanese event has taken place and they've wanted to go overtime, I have stood by the stage. I've given the signal. They know that I will pull the music. So at the end of the day, I try to do my level best in ensuring that I represent you all and stand in the gap as best I can. But you just have to give me the direction on what it is that you want me to do. So if we're asking for 2 hours and those 2 hours are granted, I will have that conversation with him to say at 10 o'clock, we're silent. There's no one more, we're silent.
So what about the approval of the event period? Not asking for that.
Well, I first had to identify the event that he wanted to move it to. That's how I started it, that he would like to move it to the back of the park, and he would like to have the 2-hour extension.
I think we decided on hours on a Sunday for people, for peace and enjoyment. Instead of something going 8 hours, 9 hours, all night long. 10 o'clock, we say we was going to dust to dawn or something. We say we was going to cut off the park. So I wouldn't even approve the extension if the other council members voted on it. It's time, we got to cut it off. We just can't have a party back there. There's houses back there. It's always loud. And you're talking about from 12 o'clock in the daytime till if anybody witnessed a car on the outside of their house booming on the street, that's what it's like for the citizens in that area. I mean, you won't be, you go home and relax. But all day long, we hear that, it's loud, and it doesn't go down, and so to extend the 10 out, to the 10, I don't even want the whole event.
So it sounds like we don't need to have any type of events in the back of the park. Is that correct?
Not like that. I mean, I'm just saying from the history of it, every year, we're gonna get some more people come out and want to have another event just like that. Because one come, everybody comes, because that's what they do, block up the whole summer with those events. So I'm gonna be quiet. But I'll definitely
What do
be
y'all want
forwarding
the
some
park?
phone
What do
calls.
you all want the park to be in the back? Just land?
There's plenty of things we do.
Like
Football
what?
Teams,
Can you tell me
baseball
things
teams,
that you want?
Soccer teams,
Mm-hmm.
family stuff like that.
We want it to be more of a sports complex.
Now,
That's what it
just
sounds like.
things. Yeah, it could be that. It could be, craft fairs. But
Councilwoman,
music
which-
festival, I don't think so.
What you think should happen to the park? Councilwoman Wynn, I need your thoughts too.
I'm like,
Because
what I like family oriented events. I do realize that sometimes we will have to do concerts, but I do feel like what we have went through in the past, we cannot ignore it. We can't ignore the fact that there are people that live that's right there up on it, and how they come here and they let us know how they felt. And some of the music from over there, I'm not saying that this event, one like that, but
risque.
some of the that music you could hear it at my house. And that I'm not in agreement with, but I am in agreement with people enjoying themselves in the back of the park. You can do anything, and I agree with Councilman Honore. This is Father Day. It's a day that some people, a lot of people, they wouldn't mind to a certain extent, but it's sort of like a family day. Relaxation, good music, but you got to have a cutoff time, or either the music has to be kept at a certain level.
right.
The same as what they're doing, but it has to be. It just cannot go on like it has in the past.
And to me, I thought the music would be controlled. I mean, that's what we have her for. And also the communities that is in the back of the park, I've seen where they get invited to those events and even attend those events and come and have fun as well. So
And that's true. That's true.
I'm just trying to figure out what you guys are thinking, because I don't want people to come to us and say, hey, can we rent the back of the park for this, or we having family day, or they naming it Lithonia Community Day, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, let's do that. And we got music, and music is music. It's, sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's not, but it can be controlled. And I thought that was the decision that we made before. Long as it's controlled, we're fine. But if we're gonna continue to have things come our way every time, and you just say no, that's just gonna be too loud. No, we have to come on one kind of level ground to figure out what do we want to see, what do we want.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, so Miss Miller is an amazing planner. I was under the impression when we talked about this many times before that we agreed to a set hours, which was going to come mostly all of this down, which is why I kept saying, when are the hours? When is the shut off time? Because I couldn't remember. We talked about it so much. But also, with you being the person overseeing everything, that takes the pressure off of us too, because before you came into place, managing the park, like Councilwoman, Lynn has said, we've had many residents come in literally hours. It was so draining emotionally, mentally. Talk about the noise, this, that, and the third. They left bottles. People were sleeping in the yard. They left their car. It was a lot. So we do have to recall the past to deal with the present, unfortunately. Right. So that's where we're coming from. And that's why I say, you know what? I'm going to leave it amongst the council to discuss, because at this point, I don't even know what details are details anymore, and where we have even arrived at factual, because we voted on this stuff before. That's where I'm coming from. If we voted on it, what are we still talking about it for?
Because she's asking for 2 more hours.
And I get that, but if we've already voted and discussed as council, I think we should leave it there. So that way, if anyone else comes and says, hey, I want to change this, it won't be favoritism. It won't be feeling like we're stereotyping a certain group of people, because we're not trying to do that. So that's where I am with it. If we've already voted on it, let's keep it there, so we'll be fair across the board. Because I don't want to run into that on the legal side.
Exactly.
Especially. And also just saving face as a city. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I want that to be my wise speech right now. And I'm done with it, okay?
Do you know the fare for the park? How much you charge for the park?
We had a contract that was in place, but that was during the course of last year on the basis of the fees. So I was wanting to come to you all as well to identify, did you want to stay with your same fee structure, or did you want to look at it again?
See, we keep coming back.
So I'm just asking.
So it was like $300 an hour, right?
We were charging by space, not by hour.
So how much was that?
Let me see.
Because I know we
Um,
went from hourly
It was $7.50 per
for
seven-
for 4 hours.
$7.50 per lot,
For 4 hours.
And the other lot, or just?
$7.50 each.
For 4
Per
hours.
lot.
though.
Right. For the parking as well as the,
Yeah.
event space?
Right. So $1,500.
For 4 hours.
Okay.
It wasn't for the full day. That's what we had issues with.
And then we
before. And pay
identified,
extra money.
was it $100 per hour if they went over? Correct. For each additional
I just
hour
wanna
is
know, we're not giving it
$100.
away.
Well, no, we weren't
They
I'm not
making, they
trying
make
to-
enough money off of it.
giving
So
away
for 4 hours, and then we're gonna charge $100 over?
per additional hour over those 4.
So
Yes.
they already got
But if
2.
they, if you have if 4 hours is considered a day, and then you taking.
No, well, it's not that it was considered a day, that was time of usage. Yes,
4
ma'am.
hours, and then
But we
$100
changed all that. We changed all that. We have to get that right because we're not gonna just.
Because yeah, right, it was not identified as a day. It was $750 for 4 hours of usage. So if you chose to, you could look at it 2 ways. You could do $100 every hour, or if they use it for 8 hours, it would be $1,500 for that 8-hour time span, depending on what makes better sense for the city. And just to go back for 1 minute, if this were a new client, I would not have asked for a time extension because I wouldn't know the client. And as a result, I would not want to put us in a situation as to where I would be asking for something, not knowing what that end result may or may not be. The only other reason that I was wanting to try and see if we could have some grace, and it could be something on the basis of an amendment, is that when we're looking at certain days as to where the park is utilized, if it's a date that does follow a long weekend, then that may be something that we look at on the basis of having additional time, but not on the basis of saying that by no means do we ever want to have favoritism. I had someone call me last week with respect to utilization of the back of the park. And after probably 3 questions, and not even bringing it to council, I knew that that was not an event that would work for the city of Lithonia, just on the basis of how they answered those questions. It wouldn't work for the back of the park, nor would it work for the amphitheater. So just know that when things do come our way, I do try to do a very good job in ensuring that I'm asking particular questions. But if this had been a client that we had not worked with, I would not be asking for the
Let
time
me tell you a
extension.
story about that.
Yes, sir.
So, every year
Yes,
we
sir,
would get
Mr.
this come in and the whole summer booked up.
Mm-hmm.
So it happened on, in the midst of our clerks and stuff like that. So all of a sudden we put this money, we advertised 40, all this stuff. So we always was locked into these situations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that happened last year. So this year, you're coming back. I know we told you that we didn't want those kind of events anyway
What you
And we
referring
hear-
to, amphitheater?
in the back part.
Last year, we didn't have anything in the back of the
Right,
park.
because they came to us because some kind of way they got the date set and booked and all this stuff, so we had to let them have it. So that's what happened with that. So we already said this kind of situations were bad for the neighborhood, but here we are again, doing this. But I'm gonna just
Again,
be
we didn't have
quiet.
anything in the back of the park last
I
year.
know, because we didn't want anything in the back of the park like that.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the particular reason why he wanted to move from the amphitheater, traditionally being in the amphitheater, to the back? Was
Yeah.
there like a particular reason why?
He actually traditionally was at the park. He moved to the amphitheater in light of circumstances beyond his control, and in light of maybe some changes with fees and his setup, he felt that he could do better in the back of the park. The back of the park is more a straight open. It's flat. It's a baseball field, so it gives him an opportunity to have a little more autonomy in the setup, and you can basically stand and see everything as opposed to how it worked for him in the amphitheater. And I don't know how many years prior to he was at the back of the park prior to moving to the amphitheater, but his question to me was, can you tell me who works the back of the park? because that's where I would like to move my event.
Yeah, we never had a situation with Mrs. Sparkle.
Okay.
The situation came about when we had another manager at that particular time. At that particular time, things happened. We had to separate ways. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When we did that, it was in the midst of his event.
Right.
In the midst of his event, he came to me and said, I don't have nowhere to go. That's why I thought, let's see if we can get you at the amphitheater, because I hate for him to have everything playing in the back of the park and now he don't have nowhere to go. And he has to cancel or money gone. I don't know. So we saved the event, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I came to you and I said, can we do the amphitheater, basically. Amphitheater was fine. But of course, he liked the back of the park. And we never had any issues, not with this particular person and his event. It was just a family day. But either way, at this time, can I please have a motion to either approve or deny the event as a whole, or with the extension, whatever you all want to do, so we can move forward.
I motion to approve the event with the extension of 2 hours.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? How many ayes is it? Can you raise your hand? Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Wait, let me change that. Let me renege. Can I do that?
You want to start all over?
Can I renege? Well, how do we do that? Hold on. Because I don't want it on record that I'm going against the time for the extension. I'm okay with the
event itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do two emotions on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm okay with the event. It's just the hours. I don't want to be the person going back and forth on, because I know what I said to the residents. That's
Right.
my stance.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, it seems like we have a decision that the 10 o'clock extension is not
Yeah.
favorable.
Right.
Okay.
So I motion to approve the event with the already set time to 8 o'clock.
All right, is there a second?
A second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right, ayes have it.
Okay.
All right, no extension. Thank you. 8
No
o'clock.
problem. Okay.
Okay. All right, let's proceed over to decision. Mayor Pro Tem. All right, council, this is a new year and it's time to do our Mayor Pro Tem vote. Any recommendations?
I make a motion that Amelia Ingram be our mayor pro tem.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I was about to say something, but I can't vote, can I? Oh, I didn't know.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being our Mayor
Yes,
Pro Tem
thank
last
you.
year.
Thank
Thank you. All right,
And for our mayor.
thank you so much. That was hard, wasn't it? All right. Okay, moving forward, we have letter E, which will be Councilwoman Inman. It is called, what is it, Lithonia Book?
Lithonia Lookbook.
Lookbook, okay.
Yes. So I wanted to bring this up, and I need the help of everybody on council, even our residents, constituents, et cetera, et cetera. Love to have something that can be mailed out to our residents. We had this discussion on the roundtable. They're not here, but Miss Councilwoman Nguyen was on the call as well. And it's just to put out, information that's important to our community, upcoming events. Like, for example, voter registration is one of the biggest topics because we need people to actually be more involved with our community and vote and know who's running, even outside of our jurisdiction, what's happening in DeKalb. Events or big topics like when we had Mr. Mitchell here, the upcoming recreation center. There's the Lithonia Bruce Street School. Just main like big topics that people need to know about and get involved with. And then also upcoming council meetings, they can have a QR code on the Lithonia Lookbook. I'm just trying to find a way to plug in everyone and also have some information about like local events that are happen, business specials that are going to happen, or how to plug people into our main street, just in generally speaking. So if we could kind of work on that as a team, that would be great. I was telling Miss Cosby with Arabia Mountain. She says she's on board. It's just the fact that we have to get it together because they're looking to be a sponsor for it, which is great. And we can feature them and maybe other businesses that want to be a part of this and have enough income to be able to mail this out, maybe on like in the future, a quarterly basis, but for now, just one time this year for major events that are coming up and just see the reaction, kind of like a tester, and just see where it goes. So I just wanted to put that out there to you guys.
I just have one question. I think it's a great idea because I've been screaming that for every day. Everybody's not on social media.
Yep.
People need something tangible.
True.
This is why we have low turnout to a lot of our events. And then people, oh, I didn't know.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea. I guess my only question is, how does it look? Is it something that we will ask people to volunteer to help us get pushed out? Or is it something that we would man?
Yeah, so we have a designer, Mr. Kilgore. He's still our designer right there.
Say that again.
William Kilgore is still our designer.
mhm.
So, I don't know how much it would cost for him to design it, but he's been really good at making our media. So getting him to put like a little, I'm gonna just show you. Yes,
Like
and
a
you can fit
tripod.
all the information you can on here. Yeah, and this will literally be mailed out some kind of way to each. Well, I don't know how much quarterly, but for this year, at least twice out the year, like semi-annual, because I don't know what the reaction is going to be like or how. I want more people to fill the chairs so they know what's happening instead of calling us, "Hey, what happened with this event?" Well, if you had been there, you would have known. Yeah.
Did you say something about funds? It's not going to be a charge for it.
For the residents, no.
No, because I was thinking, I thought I heard you say something about some money was left over.
So it's going to take money to make this, right? And so the goal is to get people like Arabia Mountain to sponsor the printing portion. She said that they could print themselves too. So if it's an in-kind donation like that, that'll be great. But we are going to need funds to mail them out as well. I can't see anyone consistently going to each person's house and doing it. So
Right. So we would include that in our budget because
yeah,
we do have a media, some type.
Community budget too.
I don't know how much is there, but yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Well, we had the option to move something around if we need whatever we didn't use in the past. We might can move it over.
Right, and hopefully we can do that by, let's just say, the summer, because if that's the case, by our upcoming next budget meeting, we can maybe figure out the cost to include. Can I answer a question from someone that raised their hand? Right here. Did someone raise their hand?
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't. Okay. Thank you. But that was kind of the idea, and I hope you guys are open to it. If you can brainstorm, this is literally something that came to me like just in my head. I'm like, okay, that's a blessing. Like,
Well,
maybe
we
they're
used
going
to have a newsletter. We had when we had the visitors. We used to have a newsletter.
But it was online when was it?
No, it was actual paper. Yeah,
Oh,
was that once a month? Once a week?
Oh, you're talking about the email that Mr.
It wasn't email. It was actually
Yeah, it was a paper from the farmers.
Yeah.
was he mailing them
Farmers
out? Or
market.
he just had them sitting?
I think we handed them out. People would come, or we would,
Yeah.
No, we didn't mail them. It was they were given out. But people actually looked for them. Yeah, that could have been like, what, 3 or 4 pages stapled together.
So yeah, I just wanted to put that out to you guys. See what your thoughts were about
Like
it, and if you guys have things that you would want to see, maybe let's keep this as a tally on our next agenda and talk about it again until we can get something tangible.
I like it.
Who do you say is going to actually man the paper?
Man the paper.
Yeah, like who's going to put it together?
I volunteer myself since I thought about the idea.
Gather information to put in the paper.
Yeah. It is, but I'm hoping y'all can help me out.
You remember when I think it was early January or December, probably early January, when I was asking council, could they start looking at each month to see what needs to be planned, or did you all have any ideas about something? Remember that? That'd be a good idea still. So she don't have to be doing something every month about the same newsletter. She can touch it maybe 2 or 3 times a year and that's it.
Right.
Because you already know what events or what's coming. And then not only that, Miss Renee's calendar, make sure her calendar is in there with, the amphitheater and whatever else. Doug, is Doug still here? Hey. All right, Doug, he wants to plan like a kickball game. What month is you want to do that kickball? Uh-oh. We're gonna talk. I got you. But kickball game for the businesses actually to bring
That would
them
be a
together.
great.
Yeah, and that was his idea. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to be, in it because you work every day, just like
Yeah.
all of us. So that's a lot. Yeah. So we can start brainstorming on different things. And yes.
Planning because
Right.
we have City Suite coming up in June.
Exactly.
And we wait right
April. April.
That's right.
Mhm.
Ooh, that
April.
would be good if we can get
Yeah.
out before then.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
April,
Okay.
June is something else.
That sounds good. Good job. Thank you. All right. So is there any need for executive session?
I have something.
All right. Personnel litigation or litigation. All right. Miss Wynn, you say something?
No.
Okay. All right.
We're no, yeah.
Okay. I need council to make a motion for executive session,
Make a
please.
motion to go into executive session for litigation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much. If you are still here, thank y'all so much for staying. Thomas family, Miss Cora Reynolds,
Oh, they're the ones
thank you. Shepherd family, the best barber in the land, Miss Lady. Good to see y'all. I need that form, or you want to wait and do it tomorrow? Okay.
Look, I thought, I didn't meet the new person, but I thought that was Ashley. I'm like, oh, she put a lot of different things on. Oh.
You sure did.
I didn't want to make a suggestion that there was extra makeup and stuff.
Guess what, y'all?
I was like, maybe that's her.
No, executive session should have been after the updates and reports.
I saw that.
thought that, but.
Can we make it real quick?
So,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. All right. We are back in our normal city council meeting. It is now 7:28 p.m., February 5th, 2024. At this moment, we did have executive session for litigation, and we have sent those documents over to the attorney for some more information. All right. So at this time, I would like to ask Chief DeJeanette, do you have any updates or police report or anything you need to say? Okay.
Saturday, we attended a funeral for one of our officers.
Oh, yeah.
Officer Jeff Wiggs. And it was a good funeral.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, you were there?
So, want to send our condolences to him and his family. We're working on something special for the city to deliver to his family and all the agencies that attended.
Awesome. And thank you for
Was he
everything.
motorcycle?
You did that, Chief. Yes.
Was he a motorcycle?
I know it was a lot, but
He was
it did good.
the president of the Fraternal Order of Police for the state of Georgia.
Mm.
So when he wanted to come over here, it was a no-brainer to bring him because he brought a lot of protection to the city because of his position. He started the helicopter program in DeKalb. He retired at the age of 30 years old.
Yeah, I think
Inside
I remember me.
I already knew which two of his brothers
Oh, yeah.
without even knowing. They all look alike.
Wow.
Second thing, don't ask for a lot of details. Just know there's a surprise coming. I mean, if you have a laptop, I need it brought back this coming week.
I can bring that right now while we
Tomorrow.
Really fighting, yeah.
So don't ask. You are going to be super excited.
Yes, our technology guru over there.
Just, you'll be happy. But just, if you have a laptop, just bring it back. We need to get some things taken off of it. And then you have a surprise next time.
Yay. Thank you.
So you're gonna clean it up for us? 'Cause I
We'll
don't
get
know.
everything taken care of.
I don't know. Some of my stuff feeds over to the other stuff. I don't know.
You'll be in good hands.
Yep. Very happy.
All right?
I can see y'all now at the meetings.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Moving forward, mayor's report. I don't have anything, but I did attend the graveside piece of Officer Weeks, and I just want to say thank you to the City of Lithonia Police Department. I was so proud of y'all. Just amazing. Y'all came together and made it happen, even though things, transpire with other agencies. But y'all, we had people from Cobb County, Stone Mountain, yep, Rockdale.
It was really nice.
Awesome.
We did get, I will say this, not funny, but it is kind of. A lot of people came up to us and said this is a completely different Lithonia than they've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So we're up here now.
Yep.
No longer
Yep. Thank you.
Hey, kudos. Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you. Thank you so much. And thank you all too for trusting me and Chief as far as that situation with the zoning. For the Lucius Sanders or whatever. I appreciate that because the cat was worried.
Oh,
So
we needed that.
yeah, they was worried.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, so yeah.
Then Mr. Blackwell, that was him sitting on the front seat, right?
Right
I
there.
thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
thought it was.
Yep. So thank y'all for that. But other than that, that's all I have. Just a good thank y'all. Thank you so much for that. Council member updates. Councilwoman Howard, you got anything?
No.
Councilman?
Did mine.
You did yours already?
Yeah.
Councilwoman?
Couple things. So hopefully Chief's listening. Couple of neighbors called me. We got the gunshots going on again. Remember they stopped. They're back again. So hopefully you guys can kind of figure out what's going on with that. And second thing, and I talked to you about it, but I wanted to mention it to council too. Of course, I got a call from Ms. Reed. Noticed it was like a little car club this weekend, speeding around the school. speeding back and forth to the park. And I know it's a park ranger that goes there sometimes. So I don't know, like, does he just ride through once or twice a day? I don't know. But the concern was we just wanted to make sure we checked there on the weekends because it was just a little too noisy with cars. Is that what it was? So they need to know they need to come to us for that, for permission to do that.
Not one of them. It's not one of them. One of them videos they don't even shoot.
Okay.
You talking about like Evansville Road video? Was that it? You know when they be zzz.
We got them.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
okay.
Thank you for that.
TikTok.
Then, lastly, I'll get with you, Officer Brooks. I did have to call 911 this weekend, non-emergency, because the neighbors was calling me. We talked about the house on Stone Mountain Lithonia Road next to the bank.
Right.
Hopefully we can do some research to figure out. I really think it's a business and they're running a event center. Because they partied from noontime till about when I called it maybe 11:30. That was Saturday. And they do that quite often. So, but this is my first time calling, so we'll have documentation.
What you say, officer?
Well, so this was, I wanted you to have documentation, so I said, let me call because you told me that you need the documentation. So I did call because everybody was asking me, hey, you hear that? Yeah, I totally hear it because it's directly in my backyard. So I try to give them grace during the day because I consider it a house party at some point. But when it spills over to 11:30, 12 o'clock, that's noise ordinance. So yeah, just FYI, if you get a chance to kind of look into what that is.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem?
No, I just look forward to us brainstorming on this Lithonia lookbook. I'm excited about that for us. So that's all.
All right. Councilwoman? All right. Thank you so much. All righty. So is there a need to adjourn right now?
Yes. Okay. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Ayes have it. It is now 7:35. You all have a safe night. Yes, ma'am.
Do we need to get another chair?
Oh, you did? Oh, you going to?